Oh, Rogue. Hello, everybody. This is Tech for Gearhead Gaming, and I am reviewing in this video the Rogue cards for the Witchwood Expansion. Rogue is in a really bad spot. It didn't really have any relevant decks going into the rotation. Some people played Kingsbane because it had some decent matchups against Control Warlock in particular, though it wasn't even that great against those decks, and it pretty much had like a 90-10 win rate against everything else. Um, and some people were trying like tempo rogue type things with Felderized Striders usually and like a bunch of card draw. Uh, None of these were really very strong decks, and I think in this set they've been handed a bunch of memes, which aren't very good. And I think Rogue is just going to be a dumpster class going forward. They have a very strong classic set, right? The Rogue cards in the classic set: Backstab, Preparation, Eviscerate, Sap. There's a lot of really strong stuff in there. SI7 Agent. But so you'd expect them, right, to be pretty strongly positioned after a rotation, but they just have so few good cards in my view that I think they're really going to struggle. I think their best deck is going to be still tier 3, and I'm not really plussed on Rogue's future for now. So let's get into the cards. First off, we have Cheap Shot. Pretty simple. 2 mana, 2 damage to a minion with Echo. Good once you've established a Gadgetzan Auctioneer, because then this is 10 mana, draw 5 cards, deal 10 damage. You build your own Ultimate Infestation. It's fine removal on its own. I mean, spending 2 mana to deal 2 damage isn't really like a tempo advantage, but it's kind of fine. I think this is solid and flexible removal. And I think that in later expansions, as Rogue probably drifts towards some sort of Gadgetzan thing, some Miracle Rogue type thing, this will be better. Obviously, it has more synergies with spell power as well, because then this becomes deal 3 damage to a minion or even more. But I'm going to give it a pretty low meta significance, even though this is a nice, solid, flexible staple that we would expect to appear in a lot of Rogue decks, just because I don't think they're going to be a lot of Rogue decks. Also competes with Prince Keliseth on 2, which could be a big disadvantage. I don't know yet, because I don't know what the future Rogue is going to be, but that's something to consider. Here we have one of the meme cards that I was talking about. 2 mana, Echo, add a random card to your hand from your opponent's class. Yeah, this is pretty bad. The previous card was good solid removal that had a bunch of upside when you had an Auctioneer out. This has upside when you have an Auctioneer out, but on its own it just isn't really that much either. It's 2 mana, draw a card. That's not good. It's a little bit worse than 2 mana, draw a card, because a random card from your opponent's class is probably worse than a card from your deck, right? I want to draw cards because I want to get my Felderized Striders to generate 4/4s for me. This card's bad. I don't think it needs too much explanation why. It's a meme card in my view. Blink Fox. This is a meme card that's a little bit better, because it's a 3/3 for 3 that generates a resource. That's actually respectable. And maybe this will see some play in some rogue lists just as a value card. But I'm still treating this as basically a meme card. I think this is a little bit worse than a 3/3 for 3 draw card. I don't know. Its power level is about where I want to be in Constructed, but it's not like build around, I love this. So I'm giving it 2 stars. If Rogue was better, I might give this 3 stars, but that's about it. Cutthroat Buccaneer. Well, Kingsbane is still potentially a deck. And this guy replaces your Naga Corsairs. So, hey, why not? I mean, it's kind of even better than Naga Corsair. I mean, Naga Corsair wasn't combo, right? And it gave you 3 extra attack for just 1 mana. But you really were just playing Naga Corsair, like, not so much as a body. You just wanted to buff your weapon. It's kind of what this guy does the same thing. I don't know. I don't think in terms of raw power level he's that great. Like a 3 mana 2/4 with some upside is like not great, but because he fits into an existing deck that could have some relevance, I'm giving him actually 3 stars on the meta significance. I think Kingsbane decks run this guy as a 2 of from now on, and if Kingsbane for some reason in the meta becomes good, or more cards get added that make it good, then I think this card will be relevant. Otherwise, yeah, most I'm giving this is 3 stars. Here we have Face Collector, probably the most interesting rogue card, I think, from this set. 3 mana 2/2 with Echo. Battlecry, add a random legendary minion to your hand. I mean, that's great, right? And I can run this with Zola the Gorgon, Sonya Shadow Dancer, Shadow Step. Right? There are a lot of ways to just start replaying this. I can generate a lot of value from this guy, right? Because he's kind of like a 3-mana 2/2 draw 2 cards, right? I'm getting to echo him back in a sense, and then I'm getting the legendary minion, right? That's good value. It's not quite 3-mana draw 2 because the last one that I play I won't be able to echo again, and so it'll be a 3-mana 2/2 draw 1. But like on turn 9, playing 3 of these guys generates a lot of resources for you. Being able to then Shadow Step him back into your hand and then play him 4 more times the next turn, right? Because the first one will cost 1 mana after the Shadow Step. This is a value engine. I don't know if it's like a value engine that's good enough. I've seen already in this set some mid-range things that seem a little bit better than this, but maybe I should be giving this a meta significance of 4 stars, because I think if Rogue is going to make it, like this sort of mid-range value plan seems like one of the best things they have going for them. I'd keep an eye on this card. I think he's powerful. He's from mid-range decks, but he's good in those mid-range decks as one of these like go late game against a control deck and win type cards. Mist Wraith, 4 mana 3/5. Whenever you play a card with Echo, gain +1/+1. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of these like, oh, here's a big minion if you set it up, and the setup's kind of difficult, and it's like, okay, like I can probably find better options, just more reliable things that I'm going to play that are going to be more relevant against more decks and more situations. I don't think this card's very good. I'm going to pass. Spectral Cutlass. This is another one of these cards from your opponent's class type things. 4 mana 2/2 weapon with lifesteal is bad stats. Even if I made it a 4 mana 2/4 weapon with lifesteal, I wouldn't be that excited. This is a meme card, I feel. I'm not excited about this at all. Wanted. So let me get this straight. It's 4 mana, deal 3. That's bad. And if it kills that minion, add a coin to my hand. So it's kind of like a 3 mana, deal 3, which is still bad. I mean, I think if you really want coins, sure, right? But I saw on Reddit a post where there was an infinite combo you could do with this, Lorewalker Cho, and Azalina Soul Thief. Yeah, okay, whatever. I'll pass on this card. I don't think this is going to see any sort of play. I think you really would have to be scraping the bottom of the barrel as like a spells-oriented Miracle Rogue to want to pull this. Cursed Castaway, 6 mana 5/3 with Rush, which basically means a 6 mana deal 5 card. With Death Rattle, draw a combo card from your deck. I mean, it's nice that I'm able to tutor a card. Sometimes that's better than drawing a card, but I can't think of a combo card that I want to tutor that's really that much better than drawing a card right now. So this feels like 6 mana deal 5 draw card, which is Starfire, which isn't a good card, which means this card isn't going to see play, which means this card is bad, which means it gets 1 star, which means we go on to the next card. And finally, we have Tess Greymane. This is the finisher of the meme deck that they've handed us as Rogue. Battlecry, replay every card from another class you've played this game with targets chosen randomly. Well, obviously this card is decent when you can get creatures from another class, right? If you play creatures from another class, then targets chosen randomly isn't really that relevant. Spells, on the other hand, could be kind of bad, right? Spells you get from another class are just going to be some sort of Yogg Saron RNG fest. So the question is, how many creatures are you going to be able to get from the other class? The answer is maybe like half of the cards that you get from the other class. This card requires setup. None of that setup is like where I want to be in constructed. So I think like while this card is reasonably powerful when it gets its setup, that setup is really expensive to put forward. I'm giving this 1 star. I think this is a meme card. I'm not sold on it. And that's it for the Rogue cards. Not a lot added in my view. I think Face Collector is the most interesting one, and maybe a mid-range value type Rogue gets put up with that. I mean, Tempo Rogue was really a mid-range Rogue when it was a thing, but after the nerfs it kind of stopped being a thing. I don't know. Maybe mid-range Rogue makes a comeback. I do see a better future for mid-range decks, but I just don't see Rogue having tools that are better than the tools of other classes to make that mid-range strategy work. So not sold on Rogue. Don't think it's going to be in a good spot. And wait till next expansion before you start playing Rogue is my prediction.